that word of mouth.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Perfect. Well, hello out there. Thanks for joining us. I am here with Michael Johnson, CEO of Resolve. Michael, thanks for being here with us today.
You bet. Thanks.
So, Michael, we've been doing these webinars for a while, 3 years or so. I think we said this is maybe like our 6th one that we've done.
Yes.
And I've watched that conversation transition from link building to earning links, and that the one consistent thing that you've always stressed is the importance of the quality of the content, right? So I love seeing that coming back into marketing right now. But today you're going to share why high quality links matter more than ever, and a step-by-step framework for strategy that these folks can take and implement as soon as they leave here today.
Absolutely. That's what we're shooting for. So yeah, I mean, to kind of your point we just said, it's a little bit like if you don't have good linkable assets, then your website is going to be like the Fire Festival, the Fire Music Festival. I don't know if you ever heard that story, but like you can pitch this thing and build it up to be the best thing ever. But when people come to your site, there's nothing there for their audience. It's a disaster. It won't matter. So yeah, exactly. That's what we're talking about today is getting you the assets that you need in place so that you can have an incredibly effective link building strategy. As we get started, I know we had a poll that we wanted to shoot out, just finding out kind of where everybody's at with their link building journey. So yeah, go ahead and launch that. Basically, we're asking, does your organization build links as part of your SEO strategy? You can answer yes, and we're great at it. Yes, but we're struggling. No, but we want to get started. And no, and we don't want to. If you're the last one, then I guess you can just take it easy today, enjoy this. But the other 3, I hopefully will have some really good, valuable information for you.
Awesome. Real quick, before we let you just kick this off, Michael, I'm going to do some quick housekeeping why these results come through. And it does look like we have like 57% saying no, but we want to get started, and that's what we're here to talk about. But for all of the attendees out there, if you need closed captioning, it's the little CC at the top right of your screen. Give that a click. We will be doing Q&A at the end of the presentation, so if you have questions for Michael, leave those in the Q&A tab. If you see something you like, give it a little thumbs up. It'll tell us it's important. And at the end of today's call, we will have a survey for you. It tells us how today's webinar went, so if you can stick around for that. But Michael, as these shake out, it looks like 13% are saying yes, and we're great at it. So maybe you can give them something to enhance their strategy. But it looks like we're tied at yes, we're struggling, but no, we want to get started.
Hey, that's perfect. You guys are in the right place then. This is exactly for you. So yeah, sounds great. Let me go ahead then, and we'll launch into things here. So starting out, who am I? I'm Michael Johnson. I'm the CEO at Resolve Marketing. I've been in the SEO industry for about 13 years now, specifically in link building. So that's all I talk about and think about doing for 13 years now. Over that time, I've helped develop strategies for hundreds of companies of all shapes and sizes, ranging from SMBs to Fortune 500 brands that you know and love and see every day. Outside of that, I'm a husband, I'm a dad, and I'm a tragic sports fan, highlighted by Arsenal getting eliminated from the Champions League yesterday. So when I don't work, I suffer with my sports teams. It's great. So first and foremost, I have urgent and horrifying news. Link building is dead. RIP link building, 1998 or so to 2025. We'll have our in memoriam over here. We'll cue the Sarah McLachlan "I Will Remember You" song. Right? Like you can log off, we're good, right? Psych. No, link building is doing great with or without you. We consistently see amazing results for our clients building quality backlinks. And that's what we're here to talk about today is how you can use backlinks as part of an effective SEO strategy for your website. Link building in 2025, as I said, it's alive. It's very much alive. But it's changed, right? Going out and just buying a bunch of guest posts, on whatever mom blog or site you can get on, that's dead. Brute forcing your way to rankings with just link building, that's dead. Selling links based on easy manipulated metrics, DA and DR, I don't think that's an effective way to think about it either. It's about demonstrating the value that your content, your website, and your brand at large can provide to the web. What we really want to help you do here is actually have something of value that sends the right signals to Google, more organic signals about why your website is a trustworthy place, a trustworthy piece of information for them to rank in their search results. So, some of the stuff that we can kind of point to show the importance of link building. There's been a few things over the last year or so. The Google algorithm leak last year was actually really helpful. It was definitely found that links do continue to matter. But as I'm talking about today, and in general, link diversity and relevance remain key. Again, it's not going to be about the overall number of links that you're building, but it's going to be about the quality of the links that you build. So, a link from one highly authoritative website versus 10 low quality sites is going to be more valuable. So this is a 2025 correlation study that SEMrush does every year. And in 2025, their version of it that came out shows that link building related factors or backlink related factors make up 8 of the top 20 most strongly correlated ranking factors. So again, links continue to play a big part in the algorithm, but they're not the only thing, right? If you don't have good content, you don't have all these other things in place, links aren't going to have the effect that you're looking for. So it needs to be a part of your strategy. So today what we're going to talk about and spend quite a bit of time focusing on is linkable assets. What are they and what are they not? This is probably the biggest battle that I fight with a lot of prospective clients, is them coming to say like, hey, I need my product page to rank better. Can you build me links to my product page? And when you go that route, you're going to be very limited in the types of links that you can build. And you're probably going to end up having to build links that aren't, the best, that aren't the most effective, paid, guest posts and link insertions and things like that. So what I want to talk about today is how can you create those amazing opportunities to get the links that we all dream of, those, top tier publishers, those .edu resource pages, those kinds of awesome backlinks that are out there. So what is linkable content? Linkable content is content created for the express purpose or primary purpose of earning links. It should be original, it should be accurate and tailored to a well-defined audience. One of the things you really have to focus on here is a well-defined audience. If, I ask the question, who is this piece for? And you're like, oh, it's for everybody, then really it's for nobody. So you need to have some audiences in mind or some groups of people who would benefit from your resource or from your content to be successful. It should be informational and educational in nature. It is not created primarily to lead to sales or conversions. The minute that you start getting promotional on your assets, you're going to struggle. Next, it connects your website with relevant audiences and niches. So it's a concept we're going to talk about a couple times in this presentation, is you want linkable assets to expand your spheres of relevance. So you have this initial sphere that is like our core offering, our core audience. This is what we do. But if that's all you're targeting for link building, you're going to be very limited in your opportunities for backlinks. So you want to create content that connects different audiences to the subject matter of your site so that you can have something that is sustainable and repeatable for your brand. And then last, it's going to be top of funnel. This kind of goes back to that informational, educational in nature. The primary focus of the piece is to provide value to the searcher. This also helps strengthen the relationship with your brand. Again, if somebody comes to your website and they're immediately getting hit with, calls to actions and things like that, they're going to feel like you're someone just trying to sell them something. If their first interaction with your brand is you actually gave them a piece of content that solves a problem or helps them, that's going to really help to build trust in your brand. So again, for as much as linkable content might not lead to sales right away, if that's the first touch that someone gets with your company, it will bode well in terms of the top of your marketing funnel. So like I mentioned, spheres of relevance, this is kind of the concept here, just so you can kind of see it. Let's say, and I literally just talked to somebody 2 days ago. I added this slide last minute, as you can see from my amazing graphic design skills, that he said, hey, we're an eyeglasses company and we're just a retailer. We don't even create, there's nothing really interesting about being an eyeglasses retailer that's reselling other brands. And I immediately well, no, there's tons of things you could talk about. There's a lot of different people that their lives relate to eyeglasses, people who have certain eye conditions, right? senior citizens who are now experiencing declining, eye performance, students in education. One of the top ways, and parenting is kind of related to this too. One of the top ways that a lot of parents find out that their kids have eyesight problems is when they're in school and they're having a hard time reading the blackboard or whatever the heck kids use nowadays in school. These are all areas that can relate back to eyeglasses, and you can create content that connects your subject matter to all these different topics. So that's the way you got to start thinking about link building, is to expand this audience. All right. Again, so just really quick, with good prompting, ChatGPT can also help you identify these types of relevant spheres. So all I did was say, hey, this is what I do. I'm trying to build out a link building strategy. Can you help me find some adjacent relevant spheres that I can tap into? And you can see some of the ones that I thought of were ones that it came up with as well. Some that I didn't even think of: athletes and outdoor enthusiasts. That's kind of an interesting one. So you can use this to kind of give you a little bit of direction as well. I saw Sai just ask, do you get the recording and the slides? Yes, we will get those to you. So the thing you're maybe asking here is, wait, is link building altruistic? Am I just like this incredible person that is providing value to the web? Yeah, kind of. At the end of the day, I think we all want the links. I use this Victoria and David Beckham meme. I'm here to help people. Be honest. My content is really valuable. Be honest. Okay, I just want links. Thank you. It's a little bit like that. But really, though, good link building at its core should be mutually beneficial for three parties. First, it should be beneficial for the user of the site that you're getting the link from. They're getting introduced to valuable information that actually helps them in their day-to-day lives. Next, the site owner, they get to position themselves as a source for providing valuable resources to their audience, right? Everybody loves to know a guy that knows a guy, right? And that's what this website can be. Like, hey, we're going to get you in touch with all the resources and let you know about what's out there. And so that bodes well for them. And then last, the creator of the linkable asset, the pitcher of the linkable asset, you get a backlink that sends SEO signals and relevant traffic to your website. So again, even though there is kind of that play of like, hey, yeah, I want links to help my SEO, you really do need to be thinking about the other people on the other end of your link building efforts, and not just the site owner, but their end user. That's what's going to make your link building most successful. So gut check, right? To make sure you're in line with that, these are some really good questions to ask yourself as you're building a linkable asset. Number one, who does this content apply to? Again, if it's relevant to everybody, then it's relevant to nobody. So make sure you've got a certain audience or group of people that you're directing this towards and uniquely trying to help. Next, why should they care? And to kind of summarize that, you'll ask yourself, what unique information does this provide, or what problems does it solve? If you don't have an answer for these three things, why should they care? What information am I providing? What problems does it solve? Again, like, forget it. It doesn't matter how great your outreach is. You're going to struggle to get really good, impactful links. And then your next question is this page promotional? Believe it or not, most people don't like giving away free advertising. So if you are trying to pitch a page that is just going to be calling, calls to action, trying to sell a product, you're going to struggle there. And then last, how would somebody link to this, right? Could they mention it in an article? Can they include it in a list? Can they add it to a resource page, right? Think about the piece that you're creating, and then think about how someone might link to it so that you can then know what types of pages you're going to reach out to pitch to, or what type of people you're going to pitch to. If you're doing a digital PR play, then you want to make sure that you've got information that is citable, that can be part of a story. If you're trying to get resource page links, you might want to create a guide that would be a good resource to add to a larger list. The next question, great, but how do I make my money pages rank, right? Again, that's what it always comes back to for a lot of clients. I get it. The answer is internal links. If you can commit to a philosophy of developing linkable content, you'll have a sustainable approach for earning organic links and getting a constant flow of authority into your website. Internal links are going to be the way that you channel that authority to your money pages. And you do that, like I said, through internal linking. So this is always a fun little graphic I like to show people as I'm discussing link building with them. But you're going to grab your target page, your goal, the page that we're trying to help influence and rank. And then what you do is you create all these different types of linkable assets so that, going back to the algorithm leak slide earlier, you can build diverse backlink profiles. And then from there, you're going to build links to all your linkable assets. And then you're going to internally link those to that main page that you're trying to influence. That way you're bringing in all this authority from third-party websites and then funneling it into this main page that you're trying to help rank. So what kinds of content can you create to get links? It's almost endless. There's a lot of routes you can go. You can make tools or calculators. You can make a long form resource guide. You can do a survey or a poll. You can write an article, how-to guide, tutorials, list of resources, infographics, white papers, videos, podcasts. These are all ways that you can go about getting links. Today, I'm going to highlight 2 that you can start doing today to try to get some awesome backlinks for your website. Developing a tool or a calculator, you might need some development help with that. There's some, complications, but I'm going to try to give you a couple easier ones that you can roll with. All right. So resource guides. I still love creating, I call them link generating guides. They are a really awesome way to try to get some really unique links from .edus, .govs, .orgs, etc. It is tough sledding. Resource link building has been around for a long, long time now. Most resource page people who, are managing those pages, the webmasters, they get tons of pitches all the time. So you really have to have something that is unique and valuable, but you can still get some incredible links. One of the questions you have to ask yourself is, what kind of business are you running? If you're like in the payday loan space, for example, likely it won't matter how good your guide is. Most resource pages on high DA, edu, .gov type site, they won't link to it. They'll just look at the nature of the business and won't. So you have to kind of ask yourself that question, be realistic there. In general, when we create these guides, we usually get between 5 to 15 links for each guide. We've had some get as many as 25 to 30, but that's usually the range that they end up performing at. So what a resource guide is going to look like is it is a long form piece of content, usually 2,000 to 3,000 words long. It's going to be audience focused. Again, it can't be about your product, your company, or even too hyper-focused on your industry. It needs to be about a group of people that has resource pages dedicated to them on the web. So military veterans, people with disabilities, mental health, college students. And then what you want to do is you want to solve a problem or provide a unique, valuable information related to that audience that also ties back to the subject matter of your website. You should also include plenty of links to external sources. Think about your resource guide as a hub of additional information for people to tap into. So a couple fun ones here. This is one that we made for a client in the developer space. It's a career guide for aspiring women developers. This piece provided a bunch of information for women who are looking to get into the development space. Again, women are still largely underrepresented among software developers. So this is a helpful guide for an audience that might be able to use it. We provide tech trends that they should specialize in, different types of programming languages you can learn about. We provide additional resources like educational platforms, tutorials, scholarships, networking groups, etc., all available in there. This one ended up getting some awesome links. We got links from UC Davis, University of Iowa, Florida International University, Oklahoma, Southern New Hampshire University. I think it ended up getting 17 backlinks, 13 of which came from .edus, which was awesome. So really cool example there. Another one that we did was for retirees and Medicare. It was for a healthcare software brand, and their practitioners were really interested in the Medicare space. So by targeting an audience, seniors and retirees, and then creating a piece that tied it back to the subject matter of the site, really get some really cool links. We got the United States Coast Guard, a link from the official website for the United States Coast Guard, other websites like New Mexico State University. This page ended up getting a total of 27 backlinks. So really cool example and some awesome backlinks there. A couple others. This one was for a lawyer. Again, personal injury firm. Not personal injury. No, personal injury is a large part of what they do, but they also do some employment law. So we made a guide, LGBTQ guide for coming out at work. 13 backlinks. We got a link from a couple universities. We got links from different LGBTQ organizations and groups. Really good stuff. And then this is one we just started on for a rehab. It's gotten 5 links so far. It's a college student addiction resources. And out of the 5, 4 of those were .edus. So just really, really cool stuff that you can do with this. It is a little bit difficult though. All right. So now what you really came for, the question that I get asked all day, every day, how do I create linkable assets that help me get links from top tier publications? All the time I get asked, how do I get links from the New York Times? Stuff like that. Let's go into it and we'll chat a little bit about how we can do just that. So really what we're doing is digital PR link building. That's the overarching, strategy here. It's been kind of the buzzword in SEO or in link building for the last few years now. And for good reason. It's a great way to earn links. Even John Mueller a year or two ago in an interview was like, yeah, I love what I'm seeing out of digital PR. So it's something that is about as white hat as it gets when it comes to link building. Digital PR is a marketing strategy where you contact journalists, news agencies, and other authoritative media outlets to build brand awareness. It's going to take your link building to the next level. Instead of reaching out to a website and blog owners, you're going to be reaching out to journalists, presenting them with press releases, infographics, and data from your own content that will incentivize them to cite your brand in their publication. The reason why you need to have something that is highly valuable and unique is that journalists get a lot of emails. A recent study found that around 75% of journalists get over 100 email pitches per week. So if you don't have something that is unique, valuable, a really good headline for them to attach to, you're going to get ignored. You're going to get tossed out with the garbage. So again, you have to ask yourself the question, is what I'm pitching to these journalists actually newsworthy? If it's not, again, it's kind of a non-starter. Why does digital PR matter? It can help with a variety of things. Number one is it builds credibility. Users, when they see you on high-end publications getting mentioned there, that builds trust. People are like, wow, you're getting mentioned in these big publications. This must be a legit brand. Number two is it strengthens visibility. There are millions, sometimes hundreds of thousands of readers on a lot of these types of websites. And then, of course, the really exciting part is it improves your rankings. When Google sees links from these types of websites, these are very valuable links that really move the needle for a brand. And then last, AI search success. Again, AI is constantly crawling the web, trying to find the best resources possible, who's reputable, and getting on these types of publications will again help to influence that. And of course, as they say, good AI optimization, GEO, whatever you want to call it, is often benefited from good SEO. So giving them what they want. What do journalists want to see? What will really give them something to latch onto? First, proprietary data and research. If you want to create something that's newsworthy, it needs to be something that's fresh. And the best way to do that is to do your own studies, get your own data, your own research. So surveys, reports, meta rankings, other unique insights for data-driven storytelling will help you to give journalists what they really want. Next, journalist-friendly formats. So compelling stories with media hooks that align with journalists' interests, those are going to be important. And then really how you format your articles and the way that you present the data to them is going to be a big part of your success. So having visualizations, interactive charts, commentary, so they have quotes they can easily pull from. Again, ask yourself the question, how are they going to link to this piece? Not just why are they going to link to it, but how are they going to link to it? Having these types of pieces in place provides answer to that question. So again, a digital PR magnet, this is what we end up creating to help our clients to get these awesome, amazing backlinks. Really the idea behind it is you want to get something that has data-driven insights, exclusive industry reports, expert commentary, interactive visuals. And one thing you want to do is you want to tie it into relevant stories that are already in the news cycle. There's a very prominent digital PR link builder out there who his firm for a while, they would just try to tie stuff back to Taylor Swift because they knew if they could tie it back to Taylor Swift, certain journalists would pick it up every time. So kind of a funny thing there. And like I said, sometimes digital PR can just be a lot of fun. So again, make sure what you're doing is newsworthy. Ask yourself, who cares? One thing to check in on is this a beat that is regularly covered by journalists? Again, if you're writing a piece, but there's no journalists that really cover that topic, then you're going to be walking into an empty room with your pitch. So check to make sure that there's a real beat that is being covered that you can tap into. So what does this look like in the wild? Here's an example of a successful digital PR campaign that I found searching online. It's one that this coupon website did. It's the best cities for thrift shopping. And so what they did was they put together rankings for the top cities in America for thrift shoppers. They used Yelp data, and they even did a survey to find out how people feel about thrift shopping and secondhand gifts. Turns out 65% of Americans don't mind if a gift is a secondhand gift. I wouldn't have ever guessed that. The other thing I really like here is they have multiple charts. What if I can zoom in for you guys here? No, I cannot. But they have multiple number ones here. So they have one that's like the number of thrift stores in a city, the number of vintage and consignment stores in the city, the most highly rated thrift stores. What this helps you do is that now you have, and this is something Haley Neff, she's an awesome digital PR specialist that I've done webinars with in the past. She calls this multiple number ones. So now you don't just have one city that you can pitch out and say, hey, you were number one on our list. You can now say, hey, you were number one for this. And then another city, you were number one for this. It's giving you more compelling reasons and headline worthy pitches to send to journalists. So really good tactic there that they leverage and use. But this got them some amazing links. USA Today, Mental Floss, AOL, AZ Central, Go Banking Rates. All of these are incredible sites that were generated and links that came in from this digital PR effort. So digital PR can really win you some incredible backlinks that you would not get with any other tactic. So yeah, like I said, multiple data sources that they use. This also really helped the piece to be successful. I've had success doing digital PR with just using public data. For example, I did a piece. Do I have a screenshot of it? Yeah, I did a piece about a year or two ago, the 10 most Googled monsters in America. All I had to do was just find out the different monsters that are in each state. So for example, Florida has the skunk ape, Washington is Sasquatch or Bigfoot. And then I found out how many people Googled those phrases. And then I pitched it out to local journalists in each of those states. And I was able to get some awesome backlinks. NBC New York picked it up. It also got picked up in Yahoo News. And then a bunch of radio stations, TV stations, paranormal podcasts picked it up and ran with it. So one of the kind of fun things with digital PR is that you can get very nitty gritty, data focused. You can use public data. You can use your own proprietary data. Proprietary data is something I really do recommend because it will, again, give journalists something fresh and new to run with. But also you can just be weird and kind of have fun. I did one that was, what if AI designed a superhero for each state? We did this for a brand that focuses on providing technology for kids and young people. So we thought like something along superhero lines would be kind of fun. And it got some awesome backlinks. Again, mostly local radio stations and TV stations, but still a lot of really good, solid, authoritative sites that came from that one. This is a study that we recently rolled out for our own website for Resolve. Hint, hint, SEJ, if you want to, pick it up and link to it. But what do people want from Google and how that's changing? So we found out, why are top ranking, why are people skipping through certain results online? What makes somebody want to click? How do people fill the gaps for traditional search? If they aren't able to get the exact answer they want in Google, where else do they go to get that information? And this is something that's really important, is that having the data is one thing, but ultimately how you're presenting this data and the takeaways and the headlines from it are what's going to make your piece really link worthy and really linkable. So make sure that you have a really good interpretation for your data and a narrative that you can pitch to journalists. So, some of the key takeaways here that we found from this data, half of users are skipping search results because they feel like it's AI generated. That's a huge takeaway, right? If a brand is putting content out that feels really clunky and AI, people might skip it and not want to check it out. But on the flip side of that, 41% of users will use an AI tool to make sense of a Google search result like ChatGPT. So tons of interesting takeaways here that we can, send out to different journalists in the marketing and SEO space that would likely be of interest to them. Google AI results are pretty bad. That's what Kirby Pond just said. Yes, they can be. And so you always want to double check that and check the sources that they're using to make sure that they're getting the right feedback there. So once you have your digital PR magnet in place, you're probably wondering, okay, how do I pitch this? How can I find journalists to pitch this to? So the first thing you're asked is, what are the relevant beats that are relevant to my piece and the headline that we uncovered. Next, what journalists are in the city, states, or regions that ranked well or poorly on my list, right? There's, again, spheres of relevance. There are relevancy in terms of the subject matter and the people that are affected by your headline. But then there's also, if you do the city, state ranking angle, there's also that local relevance now. So that's why I really like creating lists that rank cities and states for things, is because now you get a whole nother group of people to reach out to and a relevant tie-in to pitch them on. Again, does the journalist cover studies, surveys, and data? Some journalists are only covering local news stories like, murders and crime and all that kind of stuff. They won't be interested in your study about the top 10, thrift shopping cities in America. So make sure that the person you're reaching out to covers that type of story, not just the beat, but also the kind of story that you're pitching. And then last, you can use tools like Muckrack, Prowly, BuzzStream, or BuzzSumo to help you find relevant journalists. We use a little bit of Prowly. We've used Muckrack as well. They're both great tools. They have huge databases of contact information for journalists that you can filter down by what beat they cover, what they've written about recently, what city or state they're located in. It can help you to find the right fit for your story. So the next thing is you want to send personalized outreach. Just like link building is about quality over quantity, so is outreach. Guys, I have been doing this for a long time. I've tried it both ways. I have sent thousands of templated emails to try to get links. I've done the super hyper focus, like I'm personalizing this for the person. I think you'll end up getting more links and better links by sending better quality outreach by the time it's all said and done. So I wouldn't focus so much on how many emails can I send. I would instead say, who is the best fit possible for this piece? How can I pitch this to them in a way that shows I'm a real person trying to build a connection and that my content provides value to them? Timeliness, again, it can be insignificant, but there are some journalists that like to get links at certain times. So 22% of journalists like to get their pitches on a Monday. Also keep in mind who you're reaching out to and what time it is for them. If it's a journalist that's on the East Coast and you're based in California and you're pitching them at 4 p.m. Pacific, it's like 7 p.m. for them. They might not even be working anymore. So think about that as well when your email is going to hit their inbox and that kind of thing. Follow-ups. This is key. Some of the best links I've built in my life have been on the second and third round of follow-up. So always make sure to send a follow-up. It can be a gentle reminder to remind the journalist to respond. Muckrack noted that 51% of journalists prefer one follow-up, and you're 48% more likely to respond if they receive it within 3 to 7 days after the initial pitch. So usually what I do is I'll send an initial email, I'll send another follow-up within 3 to 7 days, and then I'll send a final follow-up within another 3 to 7 days. It's just a way to say, first you send the email, then you're saying, hey, did you see my email? Want to make sure that you had a chance to check that out. Again, explain the value. And then just a final shout. Hey, I sent a couple emails. Might not be a good fit for you, but just wanted to send out one last shout to let you know that this was here and you might enjoy it. So that's usually the route that I follow there. But if you wait too long to follow up, number one, if your story is kind of newsworthy or buzz, the story might pass if you wait 2 weeks to send a follow-up. So try to stay top of mind. So usually the way our campaigns roll out for a client is we take about a month to do the research and create the digital PR magnet piece. Then starting in the first week of outreach, when we do start pitching it, we start with those top tier publications. Go after those dream opportunities, hit them with that fresh content. This is a new story that just came out now. Give them your very best to try to get those best links possible. After a week or two of doing that, we then expand to secondary industry outlets and niche media, maybe lesser authoritative local publications. Again, be A/B testing your emails, seeing what's working best, apply pivots to your outreach strategies as needed. And then week 7 through 8, you're just kind of following up on the remainder of your opportunities, tracking if there's any syndications for your links, and then continuing to monitor if links come in. Keep in mind, this is something that's important, is tracking those media pickups and links. In a lot of link building strategies that you use, a webmaster will get back to you and say, yep, your link went live. Here it is. In digital PR, journalists will just like write the story and not tell you. So be checking Google News, use tools like Ahrefs, Muckrack, BuzzSumo to see if things are getting picked up, if links are appearing. I would check that regularly. Some of my best links that I've gotten, I've only found because I checked in Ahrefs to see new links that were coming in. Again, engage with journalists, really try to build a lasting relationship with them. If you're just using them for a link, that's like the old, you give a man a fish, right? You're just getting a fish that day. But if you can really try to build meaningful, stable relationships, find out, what are the stories that these guys are passionate about, what's really helpful for them, and how you can be a resource to them, that's going to build a lasting relationship that you can continue to tap into. Leverage social media. Again, email inboxes get slammed. If you can reach out to them through social media, again, another way of showing you're a real person, really helpful. And then the last thing, make sure you are internally linking your pieces to the pages on your site that you want to influence the most. It's a really good way to pass authority along the way. All right, so we're coming to the end here. One thing that I will do that I'm offering is a free digital PR consult. What you get with that is I put together a free link gap analysis. So let me show you real quick what that looks like. I believe I have one here that we just did for our own brand. Oh no. Oh gosh, hang on a minute. It's my Q2 version I need to find. We'll just do this one, whatever. So basically what I'll show you is where are your competitors getting all of their links from currently, what kinds of publications, what strategies. So for example, for this website, most of their competitors are getting links from local news. A lot of them are using guest posting. So you can get a breakdown of how you stack up within your space. And then also I put together 5 free digital PR concepts for your website. So I have a really awesome prompt that I use in ChatGPT that cranks out really good digital PR concepts. That way you can kind of start to get some ideas of how you might want to think about that. So if you scan the QR code here, you can book some time with me. It's just a 30-minute chat, totally free. You can get some awesome feedback for running a digital PR campaign for your website. So go ahead and scan that, and hopefully I'll get to chat with some of you soon. Outside of that, Heather, I think we're ready for some Q&A.
And we have plenty of Q's to A. So here we go. Shao asks, when we judge a domain to see if its links are helpful or harmful, how do we judge since DRs are easily manipulated?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things to look at. Number one, I ask myself is, in a world without Google, would I still want this link? And that's an old Eric Ward kind of concept. He's referred to as the godfather of link building. But really what you want to look at is, do real people actually visit this website? Does it serve a purpose outside of just selling people links? So if you go through the website and you look at their editorial standards and you see that it's all, run-of-the-mill guest post copy with links to promotional pages, that's very likely a site that Google can kind of sniff out and know to ignore. On the other hand, you might find a website that's a DR20 and it's a municipality website for a small town. And that's a legit website that serves a real purpose that people are visiting, and you can be a resource to that audience, to that group. That's a great link. So that's why I don't just run with DA or DR to say what makes a link good or bad. You want to look at the real utility of a website and if it's actually providing value to the web. Trying to get traffic is another thing you can look at. But again, even traffic, if you just pull up Ahrefs, I've seen a lot of sites that create really cruddy, low quality content that ranks for completely irrelevant keywords. So again, double check the keywords that it's ranking for, make sure that that those are a good fit. So yeah, that's my answer to that question.
So at one point you talked about, having better quality outreach, but Blaine is curious, what exactly does that mean? So how would you define better quality? What is it that you would do different?
Yeah. So number one is there needs to be some level of personalization. And again, there's a good, better, best to that, right? If in terms of what your bandwidth is, the best you can do is at least get their name and their company, using, some kind of template that's great. That's an okay place to start. The worst thing you can do is like, hello, dear, comment that kind of junk that you see. The best would be to actually find out who's behind the page that you're trying to get a link from. Find out, look at something on their website that you think is intriguing or interesting. Learn about who their audience is. And then when you're reaching out to them with your linkable asset, really talk to them about how, number one, where can they add this on their site? Number two, when their audience utilizes your link, what is the value that they will get from that link, and what will provide to them? So I would say the best quality outreach that you can possibly do is something that is keeping in mind the person that you're outreaching to, their end user, and explaining why this is good for them, because that's what's going to reflect best on the person that you're reaching out to.
Great. Andre asks, if you are a new company, how do you get links to link back to your guide? Do you send out to whom you would want the links, or is it more organic?
Good question. So if you're a new company, how do you get links to connect to your guide? So let me show you. Like if let's say you do the link generating guide concept, it's a bit manual of a process, right? You're going to use Boolean operators. So let's say you create a guide for veterans. You're going to do veterans in URL. Let's do links. So what we're telling Google is I want pages for veterans, and I want URLs that have the phrase links in it, because that's likely going to get me helpful resource link pages. And sure enough, here they are. So I find this website, hacc.edu, useful links for veterans. These are mostly government resources, so you would probably struggle to get a link on this page, but for the sake of what we're doing today, let's try to move past it. So, I would find this page, and then from there, I need to find out who manages this page. Who can I reach out to? If you can find an email address for somebody on the page, that's going to be the best thing to do, because then this person manages this page. If you can't find that, try to find somebody who's in that section of the site. And if you can't find that, you can do the good old-fashioned contact page, which is not as effective, but it's something you can do. So that in terms of how you find sites, that's how you find them, is again using that audience that you've targeted with your piece of content, using Boolean operators like links or resources as a way to start finding different resource and links pages that you can pitch your guide to. And then you want to find that contact info, and again, make that pitch as to why your guide is helping their audience specifically. On the digital PR side of it, again, that's a whole nother process, but you're going to want to find journalists that are covering the beat that you're looking at. Maybe even look at different, let's say you do a city specific guide, pull up all the different news and radio publications in those areas. News radio stations, not publications, in those areas, and find the journalists there that cover similar stories, and try to find their contact information, reach out to them. Again, it's all about who's the most relevant person for the information that I'm providing, and is there a realistic way that they might provide a link to my site from there.
I can tell you I get a few of them on our author pages on the website. So
I don't doubt it.
They know where to find it.
If anybody wanted to see this QR code again, I'll leave it up here for another second, just in case somebody wants to scan that while we're
leave it
Q&A here.
Leave it up there. Great question from Mitch. As an agency, how do you recommend to get buy-in from your clients to create linkable assets?
Yes, great question. So there's a couple ways to go about doing it. Number one is, if you're talking to a C-suite level person at an organization, very numbers, financially focused, the best way that I've seen to do it is you kind of have to tap into the jealousy factor a little bit and show them what their competitors are doing. So that link gap analysis page I showed you is an awesome example where you could be like, hey man, your competitors are on Inc.com, on Forbes, on all these big publications. This is the kind of traffic that their website is generating in organic search right now. Backlinks are a gap between you and these brands. So that's your problem. That's your gap, right? How are you going to solve this problem? You're going to solve this problem by getting these types of backlinks. You can only get these kinds of links if you create these linkable assets. So, that's one way you can talk about it. If you're talking to maybe somebody who's a little more digital marketing or SEO savvy, it might even come down to something that's like, your links are going to be as good as your content. If you keep asking us to build you links to this product page on your website, that is a low value page to most users. That means you're going to continue to get low value links. We need to create something that is high value, that is actually helpful, so that we can capture those high value link opportunities. So that's how I would go about kind of discussing that and having that conversation.
Question from Haley: were the backlinks that you got from the radio stations and etc. for the superhero piece, did they come from individual pieces or pitching, or was that from a paid SEJ PR campaign?
Individual pitching, yeah. So I actually handled a lot of the outreach for that one personally, so I remember it. Yeah, I knew, for example, I'd done a previous digital PR. It was the Monsters campaign. I'd done that one, and I knew that there was this radio DJ in Wyoming who wrote for a bunch of different sites over there. And he picked up the Monster story. And I was like, if he liked the Monster story, he's going to love the superhero story. So I was able to pitch him and he picked it up. I pitched other journalists at radio stations was one I really knew was going to work, because for some of those silly pieces, like kind of the weird ones, the off the wall ones, there's always that kind of weird DJ at a radio station who will pick up on those stories. So I found that type of person at a lot of these different radio stations, and then pitched it out to them to write about on their radio station blog on their site. So yeah, that's how I was able to pick up a lot of those ones.
It really is about getting personal. It's about knowing that person that you're outreaching to.
Yeah, exactly. You know them, you know what they're into, you know what makes them tick. Like that, you're going to have immediately like hundreds of % higher conversion rate opportunity than you did just cold, template emailing.
Yeah. I saw that someone had an issue with the handout, so I'm going to get in there and check that out here in a second. But Chica has a question: how do I unlink my site from suspicious sites?
Good question. So there's a couple different things that you can do. Number one is you've got the good old fashioned disavow. If you want to do that, that's in your Google Search Console. You submit a disavow file of all the sites that you don't want to have your site associated with. Keep in mind, even Google themselves nowadays more and more, like, unless you are engaging in a link scheme of some kind that you did intentionally, you don't really need to worry so much about disavowing sites, or unless you've got a manual action or something like that, or you're seeing a big algorithmic drop. I've seen sites do a lot more harm than good sometimes by disavowing, just throwing the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to disavows. So one thing to ask yourself is, like, is this just naturally occurring spam? Like, just weird sites link to weird stuff all the time on the web, and that just happens. Google will just ignore those links. If you see something that is indicative, though, of like a link scheme or stuff that looks really spammy, you can disavow those. But again, doing like a SEMrush will send you like, hey, these are potentially toxic links. Just uploading whatever SEMrush sends you into your disavow file and disavowing all those links, I highly do not recommend that because you'll end up throwing out a lot of good links that maybe have been helping your site.
Great. Okay, Kirby, yes, I'll make sure you get the ebook. I will get that uploaded here in a second. Let me get this question from Ciro. If your domain authority is low, is it challenging to have some key sites to accept your content? How can we work around this?
Yeah, so I would say with that, it is true, right? If you're a brand new site just getting started out, unless your content is just incredible and it's incredibly well presented, that will actually help you cut through some of that. But there are some sites that are just like, no, these guys are nobody, and we're not going to link to them like that. You can run into that. So you kind of want to build out a bit of a tiered approach, a bit of a process here. Maybe for your first couple link building campaigns that you run, you're not targeting DA, DR, 70 to 90 websites, these huge high-end publications, those kinds of things. Maybe you start off with some of those smaller local news stations, radio stations, doing that kind of smaller scale stuff. Keep in mind, if you're a brand new site getting started off, I mean, with lower DR sites, like those are all going to be really helpful for you. And again, I still don't recommend basing the quality of a site on DA and DR anyway. So like those are still gonna be great links for you to have. They're going to build the authority of your site so that then later you can make those bigger pitches. So yeah, I would just kind of start off with who are the people that you can, swim with now, and then build up to those bigger ones in future campaigns.
Awesome. The handout should be fixed. So let me know if y'all still have any issues. Okay, Alex asks, do you have any tips for creating linkable assets? Do you create it all within your agency? Do you hire freelancers? Any tips for smaller businesses with smaller budgets and not a lot of time?
This is always like the ultimate chicken or the egg type of an issue. Like, hey, we need the links to get the rankings, to get the revenue, but we don't have the revenue to do right. So anyways, number one is tips for creating it. We create all of any content that we create for a client that lives on your website is created by our in-house team of writers. We have some amazing content writers here, professionals. So we handle that here, but in your case, if you need a really low budget, way to do this, you could hire freelancers. You can utilize AI, right? Like, these are tools at your disposal to help you to do things that you couldn't do otherwise. Keep in mind, if you just tell AI, I need a link generating guide about this topic, make it for me, and then throw that up on your website, that's not going to be a very high value piece. So you can use it to help you construct things, go back, rewrite things, utilize the tools at your disposal, be resourceful and crafty, and that's the way to go about doing it. But yeah, I mean, freelancers can also help you one way or another. The thing you'll really struggle with is trying to do like a digital PR linkable asset that includes surveys. I mean, Pollfish, for example, is going to cost you like $1,000 to run a survey or a poll. So that right away is probably a pretty expensive piece of content for you to create. So you'd probably want to get started with some public data. Again, Bureau of Land Management, USDA, like all these government organizations have tons of data that you can tap into and start using for your piece. So again, if you don't have budget and you don't have time, it's going to be really hard for you to make something that's high value. But there are a few tools that can make it possible.
Awesome. All right. It looks like people are getting the handout now. So sorry about that. There's a little share button. So after I upload it, then you got to click the little share button. So apologies.
Oh, did we have a poll? I think we had a final poll question too, didn't we?
We do. And looking at that, I think that's most of our questions. So let's pull up this poll. So let me take down that question so y'all can see. So that should pop up for you. If you're interested to learn more about Resolve, click that little button. And with that, Michael, let me see if there are any other Q&As in here.
I mean, if anybody wants me to, I can crank out digital PR concepts real quick. If someone wants to throw their website in the chat, I'll pull up some digital PR concepts for you and give you some live action examples. So I'm flexible there too.
We have time, and that they'll take you up on that. So let's see who can get it in the fastest.
Yeah, whoever throws in their URL into the chat, I'll pull up your site right now and give you some free digital PR concepts for your website.
I love it. Crystal says
Obsidian Atlas.
Earningit.com.
Okay. Here we go.
Now they're all coming in.
So this is specifically for Wilmington. We've got Obsidian Atlas. Let's do this one here as well. So yeah, this is kind of a start growing your business with a solid marketing team. Okay, so this one's a little bit harder, but let's start with IT, right? So what I do, I've got this fun little prompt here. I just put in the, here we go. So here are some data-driven digital PR concepts for IT. The most and least cybersecure states in America use data on crime, cyber reports, business preparedness, and IT infrastructure. Could spotlight North Carolina's position to build regional relevance and promote Ernie IT as a trusted local resource. So again, if you can find that North Carolina shows up in one side or the other of it, then that could be really helpful. So that's I know marketing is a nightmare without sounding cheesy or too pushy. There's ways to get about it. But yeah, look at that. North Carolina has one of the highest average business downtimes with IT, right? Or lowest, whatever that is. So this is being really slow because I have the entire webinar running on my other thing. But usually what this will do for me by the time it's done is it'll kick out a bunch of helpful tables with data in there. And then it'll just kind of provide up to five different pitches for it. So yeah, right there, I think that's a pretty good one to get started with. Wow, it is literally crashing my my computer here. So that was number one. I got it's trying to create an image. That's why. That's cool. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here's more. So the next one, how much downtime costs local businesses by state, IT support response times across the US, which regions are fastest and slowest, states with the most or least spending per business, and then how prepared are businesses in NC. The other thing I love to do is I'll then say, hey, can you give me some fun / edgy concepts? And this is kind of a fun thing to do because, again, different types of journalists are going to be into different types of angles. So you can be really dry and data focused, and there's going to be a lot of journalists that like that. But on the other end of it, IT, I'm sure IT professionals find all kinds of things they wish they didn't doing their job. So like the most common and ridiculous employee IT sins. So who's that person that gave all their money to the Prince of Nigeria email or uses password 123? What your office tech habits say about you, according to a psychologist. There's different angles that you can kind of use and dive into. You can go very data focused. You can also just say, let's have fun here and come up with some fun angles and find the journalist that will tap into that. Is this a proprietary command or prompt for GPT? Yeah, Diego, it was actually just like really simple. It just took me a couple rounds of like, hey, this is what I want. And then it gave me some results that said, hey, actually, no, can you do it this way instead? And then I was able to whittle it down. But Diego, if you want to have me work on this with you, I'll send you over the prompts that I used to get that. So again, happy to send that over to you all. Let's find another one. We got docucopies.com. Let's try this one. So let's check this one out. So DocuCopies, it is saying, great. Here are some fun. It's starting with the fun and edgy ones for you, I guess. And I'll have to have it go back to the other side of it. So designed to break through the noise of traditional print and office services by appealing to journalists covering creativity, office life, and small business culture, right? So again, you might think like, oh, print and office services are boring. Like nobody wants to online printing. That's not fun. But again, you can tie things back into a additional sphere of relevance. Like we said, opening up new spheres by talking about office culture, office life, those kinds of topics that will give you new opportunities. Sometimes as well, you kind of have to remind ChatGPT, like for example, it's very much getting focused on printing and paper to say like, hey, can we take a step back away from that? The most unhinged office signage ever printed. That's pretty funny, actually. So, stuff like that, you could have something that is, compelling and interesting for people to tap into. So if fonts had personality, which one are you? So yeah, that's a fun little thing there. Yes, I can send prompts out via email when I follow up with folks so that you can tap into that helpful little resource there. Well, cool. I know we're running out of time here, but I just wanted to bust that out. Again, if you want me to send that to you, you can just scan the QR code here. And when I jump on the call with you, I'll walk you through the whole process on how I do that. But yeah, Heather, I think that was about what I had. Do you have anything else that I need to kick over to you?
No, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that and for getting in there. It's great when people can see that you love what you do, Michael, and that's what we love having you on here. So thank you for sharing everything. I know you left the QR code, but real quick, tell the people where to find you.
Yes. Number one, growresolve.com. That's our agency website. Find me on LinkedIn because my name is Michael Johnson, the most like white bread, boring name in America. You'll probably have to put Michael Johnson Resolve Marketing. But you can find me on LinkedIn, Twitter. I am Michael _resolve, something, Michael Johnson _resolve, something like that. So yeah, LinkedIn's probably the best way to get in touch with me. If you find me on there, I will definitely reply to you, and happy to chat with anybody who wants to talk link building. And then my email address is down here at the bottom, michael.johnson. Oh, no, it's not. Oh my gosh. What a blunder.
Wrong email. Oh no.
I'm just Michael at, there we go. Michael at growresolve.com. That's me. You'll get me at Michael at growresolve.com. And I can definitely chat with anybody, answer any questions that you have.
Awesome. Awesome. Michael, thank you so, so much. For everybody that's out there, you will receive today's recording and the slides in your box, in your inbox later today. Michael's going to follow up, like you said, so you can email directly from him as well. And we will see you on the next SEJ webinar. Have a great rest of your day, evening, night. See y'all later. Thanks for joining us.
So much fun.
Bye, guys.